Back here on the Photography and Video Show Red Carpet, I'm joined by a face that will be familiar to people who've been coming to the show for a few years now, Rick Bronks. Hey Rick, how you doing?
I'm really good. I'm a little bit tired, but you know, that's what happens after a few days at the show. All good though.
9 years in, you are a regular feature on the stages here at the show, talking about various elements. You know, you are a creative photographer, videographer, all of the things. You specialise in sound. I wonder if I was to throw you a question along the lines of, just talk to me how, over the 9 years that you've been here, how not only the business has changed of being a photographer, the hybridization was a word that we just came up with. You're expected to do a lot more things, but we're here at the Photography and Video Show. It's not the audio show, but that's a really important part, and how the audio story has changed into that. I'm asking a few things in there at once, but I guess it's about audio and the evolving nature of that and why it has become even more relevant at this event.
Well, okay, so there's a lot of questions in that one.
I know.
Right, so yeah, 9 years in, and so from the beginning, there's been the shift, right? We started with, it was mainly photography, and the video aspect has really crept in, and it's taken over to a point where some people are now, you know, they're buying kit with the vision of shooting video. So they'll maybe rock it in, do some stills, you know, or maybe shoot a gig, and they'll flick the camera, they'll shoot some video, and they'll be thinking, even if it's just for their own content or for social content. So you're kind of shooting once and you're pushing it out to a gazillion different places from one capture. And so that's one thing that we've been discussing over the last few days. But also using what kit you have better, and using it to get better results without necessarily spending an absolute ton of money. Small incremental changes can give you some amazing results. But with all this, people, you know, they'll buy new lenses, they might buy lighting, they might buy new camera bodies, but they do tend to neglect the audio. And again, it's not necessarily because you've not got a £5,000 microphone. What it is they're not thinking about how important audio is in their production, whether it be a short promo or a corporate video. In a, you know, the bread and butter stuff that we all don't necessarily enjoy massively, you know, going to an office, filming someone, that kind of video, right? It's not the most exciting, but it's the time where you really need to make sure that you're on point with sound. Because people will forgive a lousy picture, but they will not let go if the sound's awful.
I love going to offices and interviewing people. That's my bread and butter work.
Right, well, but that's the point. Right. But that's why people need to know how to do it well, because they'll go and they'll understand, you know, they'll set the lights up, they'll put ND on all the windows, and they'll do the whole thing. But they'll interview them in a really echoey room, or forget to turn the aircon off, little things like that. Or maybe they won't record some atmosphere in the room before and after the shoot. That sort of little tips and tricks. And people, when I've kind of played them demos of how sound and layering sound, so recording your own sound effects. So if you're doing a video, I use the example today in a coffee shop, right? People were like, yeah, you'd film people sitting in a coffee shop, but no one, apart from about 2 people, said they would record the noise of the coffee machine. And to me, it's kind of obvious. If you're taking a close-up, you know, you'll go to the effort of changing lenses, putting a sort of mid-range on, or an 85mm, standing back, shooting the coffee in slow-mo, and doing all that lovely stuff, but won't think about capturing that beautiful noise of the machine going, which they then use afterwards in edit to tell the story. So the audio is so critical in telling the story, because it can convey emotion. If you choose the right, you know, music bed, it can carry the viewer on the journey. And this morning, as a sort of be really on point with it, is that the F1 film, Apple movie thing, it won an Oscar for Best Sound. And and people have gone to the movie and said, the sound's amazing, because people notice it.
It strikes me, and I record for audio only, radio, podcast, whatever. In your example there of the coffee shop, I would make a point of taking my audio recorder, my Zoom, and going up and recording anything that I'm hearing a bit of in case I wanted to use it. And it strikes me, to come to your example, that maybe filmmakers going into an environment where there is ambient noise, maybe thinking, if I was telling this as an audio-only story, what else would I be capturing?
Well, I think if you think about, in photography terms or video terms, that sound is like, think of audio as like a viewfinder for your ears. Yep. Do it like that. And if you want to bring in analogies, and you know, when you lighter scene, you light in layers. You start with your key, and then you do the fill, and you might have a little rim light, and then you're now using continuous lighting because it's less faff, and all the rest of it. But when you're doing all that lighting, you're layering it all in. That's what you need to do with sound. You know, you're filming, and there's a bike going on the road, so you get the sound of a bike, and you time it so you see it. But the thing is, it's all subtle. It's all very nuanced. You know, it's not like in your face. You know, the roar of this and this and that. You know, the coffee machine is not. The noise of it isn't the centre of attention. It's if you don't notice it, and it's there, it's doing its job. Yeah. Basically.
I mean, the problem is it's already the photography and now the photography and video show. Audio is so important, as we say, 50%, 70%, whatever of the picture, photography, video and audio show. But that's why you being here and being able to talk and enlighten people about where that extra few percent, a massive percent really, of production value comes from is the stuff that isn't a big it isn't a big transition, it isn't, you know, massive open aperture or whatever it is, but it adds so much more value than you might think. You've been sharing that message for a good while here, and well,
keep banging my drum, but I'll record it on the recorder or something at the same time.
Pleased to hear it. Anyway, listen, thank you for chatting with us. Hope to see you again next year and the year after.
If they invite me back. I don't know if I've earned my keep this year or not. We'll see.
Rick Bronks, thanks for joining us again. See you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.